Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome President of North America Pharmaceuticals, GlaxoSmithKline, Dierdre Connelly.
I am honored and humbled to represent GSK on this first 9/11 National Day of Service and Remembrance. On behalf of all of GSK employees worldwide, I want to express to those of you who lost loved ones and friends on 9/11 our collective sadness for your loss. We promise never to forget this day and to keep their memories in our hearts. In honor of on service. The reason why we do that, first and foremost, is because GlaxoSmithKline has service at our hearts and it's part of our DNA. We work on several projects during the year. We encourage all of our employees to serve. As a matter of fact, we encourage more than 100,000 of our employees to take a paid day off and serve their communities. We believe that once our employees experience the power of giving back to the community through volunteerism, they will be hooked for life, and the cycle of giving will continue. It feels good to lend a helping hand, and it makes a difference. For example, for the last year, we've had a number of GSK teammates take a day off to work with Habitat for the Humanity of Philadelphia, renovating an entire block on Stiles Street in West Philadelphia. This July, a GSK team spent a day installing sheets of drywall. If you've ever done that, you know that it is very difficult, that it takes time to learn. But they did a pretty good job. Usually, when Habitat has groups come out to volunteer, they're able to install about 3 to 4 sheets or walls, because it is difficult. You have to measure, cut, and get it right. But our group installed not 3 or 4, but 54 sheets that day. Personal involvement like this breeds commitment. That's something I'm sure many of you know very well. In fact, according to Habitat's volunteer coordinator, the experience that day was so rewarding for one of our GSK volunteers that she called Habitat the very next week and became a regular volunteer. Earlier today, I am happy to report, the last 3 houses on Stiles Street were dedicated, and 3 families moved into their new homes. What was once an abandoned city block is now entering a new chapter as its residents begin to rebuild their community and their lives. When we were asked by my good deed and ServiceNation to help out on this important event, we were honored. The 9/11 National Day of Service and Remembrance, now a permanent and inspiring legacy, ensures that the entire nation and the world will always remember not just the terror of September 11th attacks, but also the kindness, the compassion, and service that helped to dissolve some of our differences and make our nation stronger. It is a very powerful lesson that we must never forget. We must focus on what really matters. Never taking anything or anyone for granted. Treating each other with dignity and respect, regardless of the differences we all may have. And working together as volunteers to make our communities better places to live. On the morning of September 11th of 2001, my mother, who lived in Puerto Rico, tried desperately to get in touch with me. She was worried because she knew my job involved a lot of travel, and she wanted to make sure that I was safe. At the same time, I was trying desperately to reach her, but communication was very difficult for all of us that day. We were both relieved, though, when we finally spoke, on the phone, each of us trying to process the day's events. I know many of you were not as fortunate. Our employees in Pennsylvania were shocked to watch the news and hear the name of Shanksville, where the passengers of Flight 93 lost their lives. Staff in our Washington, D.C. office watched with disbelief as the city was thrown into chaos. Immediately after the attacks, the GSK community, both as an organization and as individuals, joined the rest of the country to do what we could to support the families of those who lost loved ones and who continue to care for the injured, to assist the emergency relief organizations, and to help our own employees through the grieving process. In Jersey City, just across the river from New York City, our staff opened their doors to the first responders and turned the facility into a staging area to collect and distribute food and water, clean clothing, medicines, personal hygiene products, and other supplies that the emergency organizations needed. Later, GSK and its employees supported first responders and other victims throughout the world, throughout the country, with donations of more than $1.25 million to various hospitals, mental health associations, and healthcare providers, as the need for care was so great and still is. After 9/11, we all found ourselves working together for the common good. We shared a sense of community, helping each other live better lives. I believe that our actions as volunteers on this day, National Day of Service and Remembrance, will help to ensure that sense of shared purpose continues. But nothing compares, nothing, to the heroic actions of the men and women who run towards a disaster zone to save the lives of strangers while they themselves face death, injury, or ailment as a result of their heroism. Those are the brave that allow the rest of us to live in the land of the free.